The air that met Adekunle Okoro as he stepped out of the automated doors of Philadelphia International Airport was nothing like the Hammertown winds of home. It was a thin, sharp cold that smelled of exhaust fumes and damp concrete, a sterile scent that had no memory in it. Back in Lagos, the air was a living thing, thick with the smells of roasting corn, diesel, and the rich, loamy scent of the earth after a rain. Here, the air was an absence. He pulled the collar of his new, too-thin jacket tighter around his neck, the fabric a flimsy shield against the biting October wind. The sky was a flat, uniform gray, a color he'd only ever seen on a television screen, and it seemed to press down on the sprawling, alien landscape of highways and distant, skeletal trees. This was America. The land of dreams, his mother had called it, her eyes shining with a mixture of pride and fear as she pressed a small, worn Bible into his hands at Murtala Muhammad Airport. "Do not forget God, Adekunle," she had whispered, her voice thick. "And do not forget us." He clutched the handle of his suitcase, the wheels rattling a nervous rhythm on the pavement as he searched for the shuttle bus to the university. The sheer scale of everything was disorienting. Cars moved in silent, orderly rivers on 6-lane highways. People walked with a hurried, inward focus, their faces closed off, their eyes avoiding his. It was a stark contrast to the boisterous, chaotic energy of Lagos, where a glance was an invitation to a conversation, and a stranger was just a friend you hadn't yet greeted. Here, he felt a profound and sudden invisibility, as if he were a ghost haunting the edges of a world that was not built for him. The financial weight of this journey settled on him like a physical cloak. He thought of his father selling the small plot of land inherited from his grandfather, the hushed arguments with his uncle, the collective pooling of resources from a dozen relatives. He was not just a student, he was a communal investment, a vessel carrying the hopes of an entire family across an ocean. Failure was not an option, it was a betrayal. The university campus was an immaculate expanse of manicured lawns and imposing brick buildings that spoke of old money and a history he could not comprehend. His shared dorm room was small and smelled of lemon-scented cleaner. His roommate, a lanky boy from Ohio named Josh, had greeted him with a friendly but brief nod before plugging headphones into his ears, creating an invisible wall that Adekunle did not know how to breach. In the first few days, this sense of being an outsider became his constant companion. The English he had learned in Nigeria, the Queen's English of his textbooks, felt stiff and formal here. He struggled to keep up with the rapid-fire slang and cultural references that peppered every conversation, often smiling and nodding while the meaning flew past him. He learned quickly that asking for clarification was often met with a flicker of impatience, a subtle signal that he was slowing things down, that he was different. The loneliness was a physical ache, a hollow space in his chest that grew with each passing day. He missed the easy camaraderie of his friends back home, the constant presence of his siblings, the comforting chaos of a house full of people. Here, the prevailing culture was one of fierce individualism, and every man to his own ethos that felt both liberating and terrifyingly isolating. Neighbors in his dorm hallway passed with a quick "hey" but never stopped to talk. In Nigeria, moving into a new place meant a parade of visitors bearing food and welcome. Here, his arrival was met with a profound and unnerving silence. He longed for the taste of his mother's jollof rice, the fiery spice of her pepper soup, a craving that the bland, processed food of the university cafeteria could never satisfy. He sought refuge in the library, in the promise of the education that had brought him here. He was Adekunle Okoro, the boy who had finished at the top of his class, the one everyone said had a brilliant mind. But even here, in the world of books and ideas, he felt adrift. The academic system was bewilderingly different. Professors encouraged open debate and challenged students to question their authority, a dynamic that felt deeply disrespectful to someone raised to revere his elders and teachers. In his first political science seminar, he remained silent, his thoughts carefully formulated but trapped behind a wall of cultural reticence. He watched as his American classmates spoke with an easy confidence, often interrupting one another, their ideas half-formed but loudly expressed. He felt slow, inadequate, and the bright promise that had carried him across the Atlantic began to dim, replaced by the cold, grey fear that he was not good enough, that the dream was a lie, and that he was utterly, irrevocably alone.